let's just highlight the great LL Cool J really briefly on this before we transition to the next place we're gonna go
Yeah.
to. LL, for what he did, he was the first rapper that really made in a poetical way, was able to really romance these women and talk to them in a way where it didn't come off as no sucker shit. It
Yeah.
came off as like, you know what? Man, I can't be mad at you, James Todd, for that shit. I like that. I'm gonna have to say some of that player shit myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
He appealed to the ladies in such an emotional way, but he still was able to walk the fine line with, hey man, you know what? I'm from Queens. Ain't no bitch in me. Don't
Yeah.
try it.
Oh
Mama
yeah.
said, knock your punk ass out, and that's what I will do.
Yeah.
Why is it, B.Cox? And you cannot answer this in that, I say with definitivity because you can't speak for everyone.
Mhm.
But you being the music savant that we treasure you to be, how is it that LL? Is it because he was so many generations before and a forerunner of that era that people tend to forget he was a bad man on that mic?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the beginning. LL joins Def Jam as a teenager, right?
Yeah.
He's 15, I think, like maybe 16 years old when he comes out with Radio, and that is a classic hip hop album off the break. Now, he lyrically and flow wise, he was ahead of his time and ahead of his peers during that time, right? A lot of people don't know Jay-Z and LL are peers, right? They're the same age.
Damn, that is crazy. They are peers. You're right.
They're the same age. But LL was so phenomenal, man, because it wasn't just that. You talked about his sensibility with the ladies, man. You know, being a good-looking guy doesn't hurt. The fact that, and if you smooth and you have some game, yeah, that gets the ladies in your corner. But the one thing that folks don't understand, like you said, he was a bad boy on that mic and still is a bad boy on that mic, close to being almost 60 years old now. But it was the balance. It was being able to have that way with the ladies, but then also be hard as hell on the mic to get on and do Rock the Bells and I Need a Beat and Radio and Bad. You know, I mean, like that's the type of things that got people psyched about it. Doing Booming System, you know, like, and Mama Gonna Knock You Out, To the Break of Dawn, you know, those type of songs. He had the crossover appeal. And that's why I said he was hip hop's first mainstream breakthrough solo superstar with no disrespect to Curtis Blow whatsoever. But he was the first guy that wasn't in a group, because hip hop was big on groups when it first started. We talk about all the groups that were out there, you know, Watch and even Wild Style. You see the Furious Five and the Funky 4 plus one more, singing Run DMC's Treacherous 3. Everything when hip hop was about groups until they had solo superstars come out, and he was the one who did it because he didn't need the backing necessarily of a DJ, and he didn't need the backing of a group in order to do it. He was somebody that can get on the screen by himself or in a video on a track by himself and could captivate you just by what he was saying out of his mouth, his flow, his presence, his charisma, all of that.
Yes,
he really did lay the blueprint for a lot of guys who came after him, right? You could even look a few years later and seeing a guy like Big Daddy Kane, who had cachet with the ladies, who had some game, but lyrically was nasty, right? It laid the groundwork for guys like that later on to understand, like, hey, you could be a little bit of both. You could be a bad boy in that mic and talk that shit, and you can talk your shit to the ladies, man, and it can go down. Just as long as it ain't on you said, ain't on no sucker shit. So you gotta love that. But he was able to do it because he was really ahead of his time, man. Flow wise, he was doing something that a lot of people weren't doing at that time, and lyrically he was great, and he's kind of always been there. And it's the full package. It's the lyrics, it's the flow, it's the presence and performance. He's going to get on, he's going to perform, whether he's on record or whether he's on stage. So that has maintained itself because that's a formula that's not going to really die out in hip hop. Styles may change and things may happen. If you could do those things right there, you'll always be relevant. And that's the reason why. And some duds here and there that he's had album-wise, but for the most part, though, he even said it himself with the latest album project he's putting out with Q-Tip. When he said the last album he put out, when it flopped, he said, you can't be part-time in this. You got to be full-time. Now, LL's moved on. We know he's now a very accomplished actor, entrepreneur, all the different things that have happened now. So he's not just a kid that was from Queens that was rapping on Def Jam. He's so much more than that now. But as he said, this is what he is first. And you can't be part-time in it. You got to be full-time.
I like that, B.Cox. Well said. Hip hop's first real mainstream breakout superstar, man. Because to go on from hip hop to, I mean, the guy did movies. He's had his own TV shows. Man, much respect to James Todd, man. And he was the one that was talking that shit to them ladies early on. And I'm not gonna lie, I goddamn it patterned that style. I took it in my own form, man. I said,
yeah.
the hell with this. Let me put my hat on. I said, because let me put my hat on, lip my
Yeah.
goddamn lips too.
Yeah.
Oh man. Hey y'all, it's good to have B.Cox back in the building. All right, B.Cox, let's stay right here in New York. Now, this next guy